All right, what's up guys? This is a Tuesday tip of the week, and we're kicking off this month with a new theme. We're specifically focusing on an emphasis in water. Today we're gonna talk about the importance of hydration. I know a lot of you are aware of, the fact that you should be drinking water each day, but there's huge question marks out there of how much water should you be consuming, and also, does the source of water matter? Do I need filtered water? Do I need water from a bottle? We're gonna explore those things throughout this month, but today I wanna specifically focus on all the cool benefits that you are going to see by having hydration as a high priority in your day-to-day life. And we can all assume things that we've heard, right? Like for me, I've heard that this is gonna increase in lean body mass. It's gonna improve my muscle function. So that means like the way that my body moves and functions, it's gonna respond better when I'm in a hydrated state because the way the energy and ions need to communicate with one another to make those responses essentially happen. The next thing that it's gonna improve is muscle tone. So the way that we look in a day-to-day state, the way that our muscles appear, because lean body mass has a higher concentration or is made up of a higher dosage of water versus fatty tissue, this is gonna influence that. A couple things that it's also gonna influence is immunity, mood, and even joints in some of your brain and cognitive health. And that's clearly because the majority of our body is made of water. So it has such a carryover because 60% of an average male is made of water, literally, right? Like just water alone. Can you imagine 60% of me? That means the majority. Is this a priority to me? I don't know, honestly, if it's as much as it should be. So the question is it to you? And when it comes to women, it's just a little less. So if men are about 60%, women are probably somewhere between 57 and 60%. And then as we are even in our younger years in infants, like my son Elijah, he is made up of more of the percentage of his body mass of water than an aging adult. So again, I think that even puts more of a premium on where our focus needs to be in regards to the consumption of this stuff. Now, the first thing that's gonna be on the top of your mind is how much water should I be consuming? I've looked, I've scavenged, I've hunted everywhere to find a variety of sources, and there are a few key themes. One is that sometimes water can have an overestimated value, and people are telling you, hey, you need to drink like 1.5 gallons of water a day. You need to drink 2 gallons a day. If you do any exercise, this is what you need. The truth is, from what I have drawn a conclusion to, so definitely do the research on your own, but women are gonna need somewhere an average between 8 or 9 glasses, which I'm assuming is a cup, about 8 ounces, and men are gonna need somewhere between 12 and 13 cups a day. Now you're thinking like, wow, that's a lot of water. And it is, but think about from the time that you wake up, from the time that you go to bed, with the supplements that you consume, and then even some of the non-pure water drinks that you have throughout the day, those also have water in them. So we're gonna include that into our total daily tally. Now, if you guys are out there training, for almost every hour that you have in training, what you wanna do is add essentially about another almost 8 to 16 ounces on top of that daily prescription. So if you're a guy and you're drinking 13 ounces of water a day, you wanna make sure that that is increased to your 14 or even 15 glasses if you know that you're in the gym for an hour, hour and a half each day in order to meet the daily recommended dose. Now, the reason these are gonna be important. The first one is that increasing water consumption and having a regular state of that is gonna help us flush some of the fatty toxins that our body produces. So when we have fat, there's a byproduct of some of the chemical responses that take place within our body, and it's gonna help us regulate those and get rid of them. Same thing goes with some of our training adaptations, right? We produce lactate, our muscles even release toxins that can create increased soreness and can reduce our ability to recover for the next training day. Water is going to be a great benefit in order to catapult us into that recovery aspect. The next thing is that it's really common, and clearly we get this as a supplement brand, is that Adrian, I'm having lack of energy. I need a supplement that's gonna help take me to the next level, especially through the midday. Like, what should I be taking? What should I use? One, clearly we've got some products to help you. But what I wanna tell you is that the lowest hanging fruit in energy, mood, and total cognitive awareness is literally an increase in water consumption. A lot of times people hit that lull between the noon and the 2 p.m. phase of the day. And the reason is because of literally that's a state of dehydration. And that's one of the #1 signs. You guys find yourself yawning a lot around lunchtime. And clearly your food could even influence that. Like if you're not eating a clean, healthy lunch, sometimes that will dig you deeper into that deficit of energy loss. But just be aware, try to increase the amount of water that you drink around lunchtime. Maybe have a glass or two right before you eat, have a glass or two right after you eat, and make sure that you're getting that in efficiently, maybe within a 2-hour or 3-hour window, and see if it makes you feel any different. So I think that's another key point, is that it's going to give you a better energy and awareness state. The next thing is that it's going to actually help you eat, digest, and use the food that you consume on a regular basis. So a lot of us are out there prioritizing our macronutrients, our micronutrients. And the truth is, if we're dehydrated, we are creating an inefficient platform or a base that is a little bit shaky for the foundation that we're trying to create for our health, because of the fact that without that proper nourishment of the water and getting the food through our bodies, we're not really going to absorb to the highest degree as possible. Another key influence of that is going to be your bowel movement, right? Like everyone's out there sitting around all day. Sometimes we get constipated and you're like, oh my gosh, like I don't know. They're taking medications, they're taking over-the-counter drugs. They're even looking for prescriptions from doctors, right? And you assume, oh, I just need more vegetables. Some of those things are going to be your answers. But again, the lowest hanging fruit is making sure that you have enough water in your system. How often have you waken up in the morning? Maybe you delay your water consumption, but right when you have some, you know that you're running to the bathroom. It's because it helps us regulate urination and even our traditional bowel movements. So if you feel like this is something that you're lacking, again, it's going to be an answer to a lot of your problems. The last key one, and I would say this is probably the highest priority on our list, at least personally for me, is that it's going to make sure that it shores up the foundation of our immunity. Here in Utah, the weather is changing quickly. We're starting to see some snow in the mountains. It's getting cold. That makes it less appealing for me personally to consume water. I don't know about you, but a lot of times the cold months leaves me feeling less thirsty, right? I'm not sweating as much. I'm not as hot or uncomfortably like desiring that water is going to help regulate my body temperature. It's even more important at this time of year, guys, we consume more water regularly. And the reason is that because it helps regulate our lymph node activation and production. And this is going to be something that clearly helps us through the cold winter months when our immune system naturally wants to drop, or we're getting the stressors of the outside temperature in order to stay in that healthy state more often. Aside of that, directly from keeping you getting the flu and colds more regularly, it's going to help you avoid headaches, joint pain, and even some of that common, what we hear a lot about is just lightheadedness. So how important is water? It's the most important thing in your diet and your nutrition, and honestly, one of the highest things that should be on your priority list of to-dos throughout the day. I think we can take this general prescription of 13 glasses for men, 8 to 9 glasses for women, and really set a priority. Maybe you guys have a checklist of things to do. And what I want you to do is maybe start to make tally marks for every glass that you consume. We're going to have a challenge for you guys throughout the month of November where we're actually going to be consuming, and maybe you've seen it already, where we're going to be consuming a gallon of water a day. We're going to be throwing out that challenge. And the reason is because of the foundation that we're a part of. With every purchase that you make a part of our brand, our FNX brand, we donate the equivalent of that to be sourced to water in a community in Ghana that doesn't have access to clean water. And so we're doing that, one, to recognize that, wow, this gallon of water is actually a lot. 2, the importance of water in our own lives. And 3, it's going to help us have an accountability and a recognition of gratitude for some of the things that we often can take for granted most, which is some of the natural resources of water. So guys, I wanted this Tuesday tip of the week to make you energized, to make you excited about how important water is in our lives, and to help you focus on hydration.